What's going on, guys? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and today's video topic is about competition prep and specifically getting on stage for the win. I know a lot of people get on stage and they just want to use competing as a way to kind of motivate themselves to lose some weight. They see that as the kind of epicenter or the pinnacle of physical kind of perfection. If you can get on stage, get under those lights in those tiny little suits, and if you're a girl, some hair and some heels, and if you're a guy, some posing trunks or some board shorts. A lot of people see that as, okay, if I set that goal, I'm going to obtain my best possible look. And I'll say this for contest prep. Putting that date, submitting that application, if you're going to do a show, it immediately changes your mindset. I'm still reminded every time I think about competing what happened when back in 2008 I had to fill out the form, put it in an envelope, stamp it and mail it. That feeling of when I sent that letter, what it changed inside of me. And I can tell you the next day and every day after that, my focus got sharper, my workouts were better, my cardio was fantastic, my adherence to my diet was spot on. The competitive nature in me just came out, and even though I told myself, hey, I just want to do this show for fun, what I didn't tell anyone was that I wanted to crush everyone and destroy them all. And Beth, if your daughter Vivian is watching, I just want to say hi, Vivian. I know I said I would say hello. So anyway, guys, let's discuss how we can shorten contest prep. Because I, as a contest prep coach, very much believe in longer preps as a general rule. But there are exceptions, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a second here. But let's talk about why I like longer contest preps. The longer I have been doing this, the more I realize that when you take your time in prep, you're not just forcing things to change. You're not hammering the body. You're not overdoing things. You're not undercutting calories or increasing cardio to a point where the body fights back quite as hard. Does that mean contest prep is easy? No. If you're going to win a show, you're going to suffer. You are going to get to a place where you do things where you're uncomfortable, you're tired, you're lower energy in the gym, not only in the gym but outside of the gym. Your focus is going to be more food driven. You're going to have a shorter temper. There are going to be days when you question if what you're doing is the right thing. And if you're not doing that, then I can probably tell you that you're not really pushing hard enough. And there's always exceptions to every case. I'm not black and white on this issue, but for the most part, I can promise you, getting to a place that's going to win you a high level competitive position is going to require some suffering. But I want to talk about how we can shorten contest preps and how they can get better. You see, the first time you contest prep, you don't really know how your body's going to respond, okay? So if you have 20, 25 pounds to lose and you want to do it in 12, 13 weeks, well, is it possible? Sure, it's possible, certainly possible. But what happens if a family member gets sick, you stall too frequently, your gym closes, there's some bad weather and there's flooding and you have to move? Like, there are things outside of our control that are going to happen during a contest prep. So why do I like longer contest preps? A, we get to learn how your body responds. Some people have what's called an adaptive metabolism, and this means that every time we make a change to the calorie intake or the cardio and make the deficit bigger, the body just adjusts every couple weeks, right? The typical is like 4 to 6 weeks, you'll see some nice progress before we have to adjust. That's not always the case. This is something we have to learn. I've worked with some clients for 2, 3, 4 contest preps now, and the contest preps get shorter and shorter, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Let's talk about why else we might want to take a longer contest prep. Longer contest prep allow us to do a few things. We learn the athlete. We can also use things that I've kind of started doing in the last year, which is like diet breaks. Planning a week of contest prep where we raise up calories, we drop down cardio, allow the body to kind of reset, right? When there's a tight timeline and you're talking about 12 weeks or 16 weeks and we're talking about trying to lose 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week for that whole prep, if you step on the scale and it doesn't go down, stress, cortisol, freak out, do more, eat less. The body, the mind, they start to become heavy and you can actually set yourself back. Whereas if we've got a nice 20-week prep and we step on the scale and it doesn't move, whatever. I will just email Coach Paul Ravella and we will make the adjustments, and we still have plenty of time. All right. The other advantage is if you get ready early, we can also do some things with peaking where we actually practice the peak week run. We do some things with sodium, we do some things with water, we do some things with the meal before the day of the show. We learn the body. Anyone that's competed with me and done multiple shows knows that by the time we get to that second and third show, we're eating more and doing less, and we're fine-tuning the peaking process so that the day of the show, we're just feeling our best. We're feeling fantastic and almost guilty for it because of other past experiences in prep where the final week was the most grueling week of prep, right? So what we're doing throughout the process is learning. So let's talk about the specifics of why contest prep can be shorter and how we get there. Well, the number one way to get there is to not look at contest prep as either black or white, on or off. I'm all in for prep, or I'm off season and I am a fat spo. Fat spo coined by Lauren Conlon, right? That's my friend who likes to eat a lot. Don't tell her I said that. But on a serious note, when we stop taking this binary approach to contest prep, on or off, and we start to just take this approach that we're either prepping or we're preparing to prep, or we're basically treating competition, physique, all that as a lifestyle, this is when preps can become shorter. And when we've gone through a couple contest preps and we've taken the time to take care of ourselves, and we understand that letting ourselves rebound and put on 20, 30, 40 pounds within a few months of the show might not be the best if we plan to compete again in the next year, that's when we can really see some magic. We can really see the body kind of respond, stay in better condition, and allow us to do a shorter prep, do an 8-week, 10-week, 12-week prep, because we're no longer having to focus on dropping such a large amount of body fat. The better part here is the shorter we prep, the less time that we're in a caloric deficit, the better it's going to be for muscle retention, for energy. And so instead of these huge swings in our life and our cycle as a competitor and getting to ultra lean body compositions, we instead have smaller changes, right? And over time, I really feel that this is the best way for athletes to compete. I myself used to get up to 235, 240 pounds, and now I stay between 215 and 219, 220. I just did a cut, got down here, I'm down at 218 now, and I feel great. But I'm also not struggling with anything. I'm not struggling with energy, I'm not struggling with food, I'm not thinking about anything. So the next time I start prep, early next year, I plan to be around 215. That's gonna mean I only have, that first 15 to 20 pounds that I was losing, I'm not starting there. I'm gonna be starting in a better position where I can actually benefit from a shorter prep. That way, if I wanna do multiple shows, drag it out longer, I'm gonna learn a lot about myself during that process. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. I got a busy Friday, gotta get back on the computer machine, got a bunch of stuff going on. But this was something that was on my mind because I've had some people ask me, what are your philosophies on contest prep? There is not a one size fits all. There is not a one size fits all each season. There is not a one size fits all for the same person within the same year. It's constantly adjusting, paying attention, and doing what's working with that person's body, okay? That's it. Have an awesome Friday. I want you guys to go out and have fun this weekend. I want you to hit your numbers. I want you to train. I want you to do whatever's good. It's summer. Here in Florida means it's disgusting, and I'm not going outside because it's like 170% humidity, and it's literally a swamp. So I will go outside to go in my pool, or I will stay inside in the air conditioning. All right, guys, I'll talk to you tomorrow.